Hello, I'm Julia,
And I'm Bobby.
and we're here with another video. Today, we'll be talking about fiber. So, fiber is one of those things where I refer to it as magical because it has a lot of benefits, and people usually don't realize it. Um, in the pet world, you usually use it for like constipation or diarrhea, mainly diarrhea. There's a couple different kinds of fiber, and so I will go over those with you.
Fun fact, pet food and human food list the opposite fibers.
Yeah. So if you're looking at a pet food, it's actually the crude fiber, which is the insoluble fiber. Whereas if you look at human food, it's the dietary fiber, which is the soluble fiber. So I'll actually go over what the difference of those is.
Yeah, kind of wish they just listed those.
Yeah, it would be a lot more like comparable, a lot easier to understand. Because I feel like you're missing something not knowing what the other one is. But anyways, so things that include soluble fiber in them are things like barley and oats, beans, sweet potatoes. It's also in figs and prunes apparently, but the other ones are more relevant because those are the things that are pretty common in pet foods. Another thing that has soluble fiber is psyllium, and that's what a lot of people, especially in humans too, is what they use as a source of fiber.
Some of you will know that as Metamucil, because
Mm-hmm.
the commercials really drill it in that it's psyllium.
Yeah. So on this website, on nutrientsforyou.com, they do give you the amount of soluble fiber in like a bunch of different things, so you can look through it if you'd like to. So some types of insoluble fiber are like cereals, whole wheat, lentils, apples, and pumpkin, and a lot of pet people use pumpkin. That's what they use for diarrhea, but it's kind of funny. The soluble fibers are actually better for dealing with diarrhea than insoluble, but everybody uses insoluble for some reason in pets.
There's a few things like pumpkin and squash that are kind of awesome because they have
decent amount of both. Yeah, they're just higher in the insoluble than soluble.
Yeah. You can think of insolubles as kind of like bulk.
Mm-hmm. So, I give you an idea of what the difference is. So soluble fiber, it does absorb water because it's soluble in water. So it'll add bulk to your stool, and it'll also help like slow down digestion because it'll make like a big bolus and it's harder to pass through the digestive system, which is a good thing. It also absorbs toxins, and it does relieve constipation, but it also relieves diarrhea. Insoluble fiber actually stimulates the gastrointestinal tract, so it'll actually speed up digestion, and it kind of creates a different kind of bolus where it doesn't really absorb water, but it can help with diarrhea because of that, but it's still going to move it along faster.
Yeah. It's also used a lot for, like, fiber in general is used a lot in weight control. Mm-hmm. Because it makes you feel full.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that right now, actually. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the benefits of fiber and what you can use it for, especially in reference to like a pet's everyday diet or if it's in their food already. So it'll help them lose weight, like Bobby was just talking about. It's because, like I talked about with the soluble fiber, is a lot more useful for this because it'll absorb the water, and because it's sitting in your stomach and it's harder to pass through, it'll actually keep it in your stomach longer and make you feel full for longer. And so it'll help your pets like be satiated and not want as much food. Obviously, if it's like a mental thing, like a lab that just wants to eat everything, it might not work as well.
Yeah, there's kind of just no fixing that.
Yeah, feeling full doesn't really stop them. But, if they're just eating too much, then yeah, that'll help them. It'll also help with things like heart disease and diabetes. A big part of that is lowering cholesterol. So I mentioned that soluble fiber absorbs toxins, which can actually reduce the incidence of colon cancer, but it can also absorb bile from the liver, and bile is made of cholesterol. And so because the fibers, like taking it out and then, you know, getting rid of it in the stool, your body's constantly having to replenish it, which lowers the level in your blood. Or in your pet's blood. I keep referring to people.
Yeah.
So if you saw our last video on yeast candida, you know that having a healthy gut flora is really good for you. So again, soluble fiber. A lot of benefits are soluble fiber.
Yeah.
Soluble fiber helps feed your good gut bacteria. So they actually use it as food. It's the things that the pet won't be able to digest, so the really long chain carbohydrates that you don't have, our pets don't have enzymes to break down, but the bacteria that's living in their gut do. And so they use that as energy, and it helps create a good, healthy gut. And so that's what people refer to as prebiotics. And so psyllium is actually a really good prebiotic.
Yeah, if you see things like chicory root, inulin, that's
inulin is the best one.
Yeah.
If you see that in your food, then you're
yeah, it's very prevalent in chicory root and burdock root.
So like I mentioned before, it can reduce your pet's risk of colon cancers. You can also use it to, if they eat something that they weren't supposed to, then giving them fiber can also help flush that out of their system as long as it's still in the gut. Also, if they have a really bad gut flora matrix, if they don't have very many good gut bacteria and it's mostly bad gut bacteria, they can actually help absorb the toxins from those bad gut bacteria. That can cause a lot of inflammation in the gut. Also, a lot of plants that are high fiber are also anti-inflammatory, so that also helps.
Like chicory root and burdock.
Yeah, it's true. Fiber also helps absorb certain nutrients. So things in your food like calcium and a lot of nutrients and minerals and vitamins that are in a matrix, once the bacteria dissolve and digest the fiber, it actually releases those nutrients for you to absorb. So yeah, that's about it. Do you have anything to add?
The biggest thing would just be that fiber can help with both ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much if they're having any stomach problem, fiber's great. I see a lot of people that try and just simplify things by doing rice and boiled chicken when their dog has an upset stomach. Technically it's fine, but basically what you're doing is you're stripping all the nutrients so that their body doesn't have to digest it. I really would advise just throwing some fiber at them. Pumpkin, squash, psyllium, those kind of things are great for just kind of bulking up the stools, regulating the moisture, just kind of getting everything back to normal.
Yeah, so it's useful for if your pet has just a really sensitive stomach. You can add some, you make a digestive supplement. You can add some of the digestive care to their food, or some pumpkin, or some psyllium, something like that. But the main thing that people actually use it for in pets is food transitions. So if you're transitioning them to a different food and they've been on the same one for a really long time, it can upset their stomach a little bit. And so giving them a good fiber source can actually help them transition, help their gut kind of adjust to it.
Another thing I would say is, for those of you that raw feed, don't be afraid of healthy carbs like fiber.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people lean towards meat only, but there's a lot of benefits in fruits and vegetables. So don't shy away from them.
You don't want to add empty things like white rice or something like that, but as long as it has a good fiber source, it's beneficial.
Yeah, a lot of them have antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, the fibers, so it's really good for you.
All right, so that's a video on fiber. Thank you.